One of the most storied in college athletics announces an historic leap forward live from the Convergence studio at Loyola University in Chicago right now on ESPN3. And welcome in. I'm David Kaplan, joined today by Director of Programming and Acquisitions for ESPN, Brent Colburn, and the longtime Commissioner of the Missouri Valley, Doug Elgin. Gentlemen, great to be with you. Doug, I'm going to start with you. This is a huge announcement. Your thoughts today?
Well, today's actually a day of celebration for the Missouri Valley, and our league is announcing today a long-term extension of the ESPN-NBC media rights agreement. This will take us through the 2023-24 academic year, and it's going to lead to thousands of games being produced on campus by students, broadcast majors, journalism majors. They'll be very heavily involved in this, and certainly there'll be a lot of ability of those people to get involved in television media as they graduate.
You've been the commissioner for 37 years. You've seen a lot.
Actually, 27.
27 years. Don't want to make you older.
Right.
Was there a moment as these negotiations went on, a pivotal moment that you can let us in on, you went, that's going to happen?
I think it probably happened at a meeting we had in St. Louis at our basketball tournament with our president, David, where we knew right away that they were on board with this concept. They saw value in this, not only in athletics, but in the academic side of the campus. And certainly, I think from the relationship that we've had with Brent, I knew from the get-go that Brent was going to see this through to its completion, and I knew that he wanted this to happen. Certainly, the amount of time that ESPN invested in this process took about 20 months was certainly very impressive.
Brent, this is such a great thing. ESPN, such a great name in sports. From your perspective on the ESPN side, what does this mean for you guys?
Well, first of all, I'd love to thank Doug and his staff and the entire membership, the presidents and the athletic directors, and we're beyond excited today. For ESPN, this deal reaches a lot of our priorities. We've got a long-term deal which provides, expansive rights for a long-term, the next decade with a competitive conference like the Missouri Valley Conference. It provides for exclusivity, provides for a very comprehensive portfolio of content for us that fuels all of our networks and platforms with a wide variety of content for us. So again, we're beyond excited, and just provides a great amount of exposure and identity to the partnership.
The league had already produced a lot with volleyball, with baseball, and ESPN3, but it's also a league and a staff that's willing to be very progressive in their thoughts. Can you talk about that from the digital side?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the conversations that Doug and I have had over the last almost 2 years now, I've always sort of preached there's a fan expectation now that every fan should be able to get whatever event they want on any device at any given time. And this new co-branded network with the Valley on ESPN3 provides that. It's a tribute to Doug and his team to think progressively like that. For us to be able to work directly with the schools and the school productions, the students, the staffers on site. It's really, in my opinion, the true essence of a partnership, the true essence of a business relationship that we have to provide the boots on the ground with the conference and with the membership. And we're going to have a lot of content. We're going to have a lot of content over the next 10 years, and we're excited. We're ready to go.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's time now to hear from the longest tenured coach in the Valley. It is Ben Jacobson, men's basketball. Ben, your thoughts on how this is going to impact your program, your university, and this great league?
Each and every year, really each and every day, we're working hard to improve and increase the national brand of the University of Northern Iowa, and in doing that, hand in hand with the Missouri Valley Conference, and that's something that impacts our fans, it impacts obviously our school, and it impacts our recruiting, and that in a way then to continue to grow our program and reach new heights. And this is without question one of the best ways to be able to do that. Anything that we've done in partnership with ESPN and any of their platforms has been tremendous for Northern Iowa, and it's been tremendous for the Missouri Valley Conference. I'm going on year 15 now in our league as an assistant coach and a head coach, and that gives me some perspective, I guess, in terms of where we were 15 years ago and where we've been at the different stops and where we're headed. And there's been some significant things that have happened in our league, certainly on the playing floor, some tremendous accomplishments. But those things are hard to get done without the leadership that's been provided by Doug and his staff and our conference office. And this obviously is another step in moving us forward.
All right, I'm now joined by Larry Lyons, the longtime Director of Athletics at Illinois State University, and Jack Watkins, longtime Associate Commissioner of the Missouri Valley. Larry, let's start with you. From a university perspective, tell us a little bit about what this partnership means for, in your perspective, Illinois State and the MVC.
Well, it's tremendous. I believe in this effort from day one. It was absolutely the right thing to do for our league. It gives us a chance to brand each of our institutions with ESPN. Obviously, men's basketball was a primary driver, but it's going to benefit all of our other sports. And then you throw in the education component, the academic component, tremendous thing for our league.
When you commit to a long-term partnership like this and you're spearheading it on your campus, tell us about what you had to do to sell it to your president and then the backing you got from your administration.
Well, it was an easy sell. President Dietz and his staff were fully committed. They understand the potential outcomes. It was an easy sell for us. Very collaborative on our campus, and they understand that there's going to be increased exposure for the campus, increased exposure for our athletic departments, and again, you throw in academics, it's just a win-win for Illinois State, for all the teams, all the schools in our league, and for the Valley.
In addition, you had a very successful football team. Men's and women's athletics are playing very successfully, and now your fans, your alums all over the country are going to get a great opportunity to follow your teams.
We had a great fall last fall, and it was exposed on ESPN3. Our soccer program, we hosted the Valley Championship for the first time. We were able to tell the story of Rachel Tejada, four-time MVC Player of the Year, the leading scorer in MVC in Illinois State history. We were able to tell the story about an undefeated regular season for our volleyball team as they won the Missouri Valley Conference Championship. And then there's the run for football to Frisco. All three of our playoff games were on ESPN3. We called it the Shining Sea Tour as we went from coast to coast. But we heard from fans all over the country. We heard from fans outside of the country. That exposure gave us national and international exposure. You can't replicate that on some other channels. So it was just really incredible. It gave us a great build-up moving forward into that championship game. ESPN3 delivers on its mission. It's great stuff.
Jack Watkins, I deal with you as a member of the media. All of us get to deal with you. How does this raise the profile of the league and the name MVC, Missouri Valley?
I think the best part about this, Dave, is that we have a sustainable network that provides quality HD programming that's produced by our students to give a behind-the-scenes perspective on our student athletes. And when you think about it from the Missouri Valley Conference, our calling card is a co-branded mark with the leader in the industry. I can't think of a better way to not only convey the Valley brand, but to become synonymous with ESPN and our student athletes moving forward.
The women's basketball tournament transitions from linear television to this opportunity that you guys have now provided throughout the league. Can you talk a little bit about that and how so many people are going to get a chance to become involved and follow these teams?
Well, our first year, last year, we were able to go from 9 telecasts, in 13-14 to 18 last year on the Valley on ESPN3, including all 9 games from our conference tournament. Wichita State has won our tournament the last 3 years in a row. The neat thing about ESPN3, Dave, is it allowed us to not only talk about Jody Adams and her student athletes, but our 2015 Jackie Stiles Player of the Year and Alex Harden. Here's a young woman that was the leading scorer and rebounder in the league, or among the league leaders, won our conference Player of the Year, received her degree in biology while looking toward pursuing a degree in medicine, but she had a little stop along the way. She was drafted this year, and she's now playing for the Phoenix Mercury, the WNBA. But the platform of like ESPN3 gives us a perfect chance to give a behind-the-scenes perspective of not just our women's basketball, but all of our student athletes, and that content is produced by our students. I mean, it's a perfect mix of academics and athletics, a true reach across campus.
Men's basketball being such a high-profile sport, that's where many fans identify with the Missouri Valley. Some of the great success Wichita State, Northern Iowa, Illinois State, and others have had. Can you talk about how it affects the other sports on top of men's basketball?
Well, for the longest time, the Missouri Valley Conference is known as a women's volleyball league as well. We continue to have linchpin programs at Missouri State, Wichita State, Northern Iowa, and Illinois State. Last year, Coach Melissa Myers and the Redbirds went 18-0 in league play, and then capped that regular season success by going undefeated and winning the conference tournament. not only in the sport of volleyball, where Bobby Peterson at Northern Iowa is a former national coach of the year. I look at a sport like men's soccer. We've had multiple teams advance to the Elite Eight, 3 teams, I believe, to advance to the College Cup, if you will. And one of those programs that advanced to the Elite Eight, the Bradley Braves, led by Jimmy DeRose, who was the National Coach of the Year in 2007. And the one sport that we don't really talk about that we're just scratching the surface, we televised the Indoor Track and Field Championship at Northern Iowa this year for the first time. We are adding outdoor track and field in 2016, a sport where we had 7 first-team All-Americans and 7 second-team All-Americans in 2015. So the planets have aligned, the time has come. We have a 108-year-old mark. We're getting ready to start our 109th season, and we are so grateful for the forum that we have to continue to tell our story.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Earlier in the week, we had a chance to hear from 2 very high-profile coaches, Keith Gutton and Connie Price-Smith, who was recently named an Olympic coach. Let's hear their thoughts.
Anything that helps get our brand out, and we have a good brand. We had a great year as a league this year with 3 teams in the tournament, and anything that helps spread our brand out to more homes is something that's going to benefit us in recruiting and fundraising and all aspects of our programs. You know, you can talk to a recruit 1,000 miles away, and he can tell his parents that you're going to be able to see my games on the weekends. You don't have to travel 1,000 miles. You know, if you're in a cold weather climate and you don't want to travel, you know, you can still see those games, and that's very meaningful to families and close friends.
The digital networking is going to be highly, highly important for recruiting because kids use their mobile devices all the time. And I think, you know, even our athletes go back and watch it on their mobile devices when they're not at the meet itself, watching their teammates when they're in the hotel rooms. So it's going to be great for recruiting, and it's just a great all-around thing.
Doug Elgin rejoins me, commissioner of the league for 27 years. You hear from 2 icons in coaching like that. Your thoughts?
Well, this this new digital platform is going to be a game changer for our league. We have an exponential increase in productions and exposure from this. It's going to benefit our men's basketball and women's basketball, obviously, but I also think it's going to bring such value to our Olympic sports and other team sports in the league. I can't say enough about the commitment that our President's Council and ADs have made to make this venture possible, and we're certainly looking forward to a long-term relationship with ESPN, and certainly really happy to be entering this new era with our conference network.
This is a major day for the Missouri Valley.
It certainly is. I've been in the league a long time, and we've had a lot of high moments, and this certainly rivals any of the moments we've had in our league.
Doug, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, for everybody here at Loyola, here at the Communications Center, for Jim Collins and Jameson Chen, and John Cervisi and his great staff at Webstream Productions, for the Missouri Valley, and for ESPN, thanks so much for watching here on ESPN3. I'm David Kaplan.